Muy buenas noches. Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of the Goon Squad. As you can see, I'm your new host, a little bit sexier, longer hair. My name is Alex Atiachiska, as you already know, hopefully. If you haven't already before, please like and subscribe. We're going to have new materials coming out, possible new shows. We have a lot of things going on. That's why Bobby's no longer here. We kicked him out. He's behind the scenes doing everything. And as you can see to my right, Juan Vasquez, third and Juan, now officially 24. Welcome back, brother.
What's up? What's up, brother? Yeah.
How do you feel, man?
Kobe year, we gotta make this one count. So, ready to get it going. We're already working on a lot of things, and it's gonna be a big year, man. We're gonna make the most of it.
Hey, bro, I'm excited for you, man. Welcome back. Me and Juan actually shared a birthday. He got to leave town, enjoy the weekend. We missed him last show, but he's back. So I'm gonna get him right off the start. What we talked about last show, Juan, the guys, Bobby, Neil, myself, we had mentioned the whole KD situation was kind of in a stalemate. It's like, how do you move this needle? Like, what needs to happen? And we had talked about the possible meeting. We didn't know when it was scheduled. Said meeting did happen. I don't know exactly which date, but we found out KD gave his ultimatum. He told the owner directly, you either trade me or you keep Nash and Marks. I want to go off right off the bat. I want to get your reactions. What do you think about the whole situation when it comes to leverage, the reaction around the league, the bidding war that this might start? And I'll respond to you.
No, yeah. So I found it really interesting how Katie. Well, it was reported that Katie talked to the owner and said, pick between either me or Steve Nash and the GM. And I don't know if you saw, but the Nets owner actually tweeted and he said that they were going to do everything they can to build around their current coach and their current team and do what's best for the Brooklyn Nets, not what's best for Kevin Durant. So, I think he really burned the bridge badly there over the weekend. I do think it was on purpose, kind of, if you're not gonna get rid of these people because I couldn't work out with them before. Pretty much, I'm gonna burn this bridge and make sure you want to ship me out ASAP. Now, this is really good for Miami actually because it devalues him a lot. Now, not only does KD want out, he's gonna want out the hard way. So he's gonna go out ugly. It's probably gonna get really messy, and with how the Nets owner is talking right now, it looks like they're not gonna let him go easily. So they're probably gonna still want a steep price for him. Nobody's gonna bite. It's probably gonna hold on a little bit longer. It's probably gonna get ugly as training camp rolls around, as the season gets around the corner. But ultimately, yeah, I think KD's time there is done. And if anything, I mean, how if you're a teammate of KD, how do you come back in there if he doesn't want to play with you? You want the coach to be there, so it makes it really awkward. And from this point forward, I think he's already gone. Just a matter of time.
It's funny. You're not going to hear this many times sometimes in the Goon Squad, but I completely agree with Juan on this one. When it comes to leverage, you kind of remove, and this is unprecedented because the owner basically had an emotional response via tweet, via social media. These are things that are usually handled behind closed doors, especially in ownership. So you don't know if he's trying to send a message to KD, since KD's always lurking on social media, waiting to respond to that tweet that calls him out or attempts to call him out. So you don't know if he's doing it for that or if he's showing support to his organization, because you can support your organization, but the moment you do that, the moment you come out and tweet that, you're basically saying that this is it. This is the road. There's no, this is an impasse, but there's no possibility of reconciliation. We had talked many times before, referencing Kobe in 2007, when he was supposed to be traded to the Bulls. Later on, the trade fell apart. He decided to stay, and a year later, they're winning a championship. So they had a core that was intriguing because it was fit for Durant. There's always a fit with Simmons. How is he going to fit with them? But now you have Durant. Then now you have the Kyrie situation, because now you have similar stories in regards to Kyrie didn't like Nash, doesn't like Marks. Now KD have never mentioned this before. Previously, it was just he requested a trade. It was amicable, where they still have more leverage. Granted, KD has 4 years, $198 million contract. So the Nets technically right now, due to this fact that KD comes out and says this to the meeting, and he requests a trade, and he gives them an ultimatum. When I hear the owner say we're going to do what's best for the organization, for the Brooklyn Nets, that means that we're going to trade you to whoever we want within the realm of possibility, because they still are not going to get the asking price, especially now. Like you said, that is way down.
Does KD have a no trade clause?
No.
So yeah, they can ship him out wherever he wants.
He could be traded. He could be traded anywhere. So it just came down to the Nets make face. When these trades go down, sometimes people don't understand leverage. They're like, oh, he has 4 years. They don't have to trade him. It becomes an uncomfortable situation when you have a disgruntled superstar that no longer wants to be part of your organization. It's kind of like that rotten little apple. It's just going to ruin everything else. So it's in the best interest at a certain point just to break, go your way, go my way. Obviously, you have to try to extract as much as you can from that asset that you have. But at a certain point, they'll probably take a little bit less just to get rid of it if it comes to push the shoves. But what they're doing right now, and reports are going to start coming out, Sixers, West teams, a bunch of reports are going to start coming out to bring that value back up and try to have a team bid against themselves. And in regards to that, what is your stance with the KD situation, the possible fallback option, even with Kyrie? Because that's one part of the ultimatum that I was really intrigued by. If it comes down to not acquiring Kevin Durant, do you go and shift your focus to acquire Kyrie if it becomes available, or to facilitate a trade if KD is going to be traded somewhere else? Do you become a facilitator as long as it gets you away from your conference rivals like Celtics, Raptors? So what do you feel in regards to the East? If they're going to trade him to the East, do you rather have Celtics acquire him, or do you have the Raptors acquire him, or facilitate a trade to a team in the West?
That's tough. Well, we definitely don't want him here. I mean, I think we talked about it before, but that's kind of like the fever of like something new on the market. But the more you think about it, I mean, he's clearly not a fit here. But as far as being a facilitator, honestly,
no, I'm talking about Durant, not Kyrie.
Oh, for Durant?
Yeah. If for Durant, one of the points was if we will go and shift to acquire Kyrie if it becomes available. You know how I feel about Kyrie. But if you're not going to get Durant, if the Eastern Conference team is going to get him, do you prefer Celtics, Raptors, or you facilitate them so he can be traded out west if a team from the West comes out?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you want to get him out of the conference entirely. I mean, Boston definitely you don't want them to get better. They got really close. I mean, they got all the way to the finals. But you would have to facilitate it to the West. The Toronto Raptors, I don't have much faith in them, even though they had that Cinderella year in 2019. I just don't have much faith. But you don't want to give them a nuclear weapon like that, because you don't know if then Pascal Siakam can become a really good role player. He's been underwhelming being the franchise guy. So yeah, definitely get in there and try to facilitate him out west. And then if not, you get in that bidding war. So if he's going to come to the East, whatever team ends up getting him is going to cripple themselves pretty badly in order to like get him to that city. But in the end, I think KD, if he's traded, which I think he will be traded, I don't know if he's traded before the start of the season. I could see this dragging out a little bit more and getting like uglier, because the way the Nets owner tweeted that out, you don't make things public unless like you're ready to go to war.
You want exactly.
So KD did that over the weekend, and it's kind of like the owner said, "All right, motherfucker, watch this shit." And
it's like I'm telling you, when I saw that, I had never seen. I've seen owners be engaged, and I think it's cool when owners are engaged with the public and they respond. That's cool. But I have never seen an owner respond via social media to an unconfirmed report, quote unquote, because KD hasn't really confirmed it. It's been confirmed, obviously, by Shams, by all credited reporters, but he himself hasn't said, oh, yes, I said this. So he's responding directly to the report of what went on in the meeting. So I was like a direct response, which I had never seen that before. But, and you know what's funny, when you said that, in regards to the East, and I was talking to Bobby to this about the other day, if the Nets liked the packages they were being offered, even from the Celtics, even to Jaylen Brown. Today it came out that they had talked about possibly acquiring Jaylen Brown and Tatum. That's laughable, man. No one's like, this is the part that when you're trying to set the bar way too high, everybody understands how these negotiations go. Like, there's no way, there's no human way the Celtics are going to trade Tatum and Brown for a disgruntled superstar, even if it's KD. I'm under the big belief that a lot of these teams are leaking more information because they want to weaken their opposing teams in the conference. In this case, the Heat.
It wasn't. You're wrong. Hold on, stop.
My God,
it's not Tatum, bro. It's not Tatum.
Guy,
I have to come in.
This guy.
You're failing as a host right now. It's not Tatum.
This is my show right now, Bob. This is my show right now.
And Marcus Smart. It was adding Smart. Get your info right. Come on. Damn.
What do you mean my info right? That was a trade proposal.
I should have put Harrison as the host. Should have put Harrison.
Get out of here. Go back to producing. Look at that. He can't get away from us, bro. He can't get away from us, man. Jesus, let me do my job, Bob. Let me do my job. Trying, man. But what they had talked about initially, they had asked for. That's like they call us and they ask for Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Like, at that point, you just laugh and hang up. Like, is this guy serious, bro? Like, did he really ask me for my two superstars? Like, no one in their right mind would do that. So at this point, I think it's just a game of chicken. And like you mentioned, this could get ugly if it goes into training camp. Then you have a James Harden situation. Or you have a Jimmy Butler situation, what he did in Minnesota a few years ago. It's like, look, he requested a trade. He was calm about it. It's like, you're not going to trade me? Okay, I'll show up. I'm gonna beat all your starters with the practice squad, the D League. Give me all of them, and I'm gonna beat your ass. And he was traded within a few games of the season. Do I see that happening with KD? I don't know, man, because with the Nets, up to what point can you hold it? Like, what do you hold on to? At what point do you just say, look, man, we can play ourselves. Like, we have to do this. We have to move on.
Yeah, but it's pride and ego at that point. If they wanted to, like, really get him out of there, they would have done it already. And it would, and if that was the case, this trade is going to happen within the next 2 weeks, but it's not going to happen. So, it's weird because now, before, of course, you're hanging up the phone if somebody wants Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo for a 34-year-old superstar. Yeah, he's a superstar, but it's KD. He had an Achilles injury. It's not like you're getting LeBron at 34, who is Superman, and not only does that, but spends millions of dollars each year just on maintaining his body and making sure he's at the best shape of his age. So, yeah, that's why this owner, he's not going to want to let KD go easily, because then he's going to feel like KD won. The same way that, if you remember back in 2019 when KD was getting out of Golden State, he was kind of humiliating Golden State with how it was like, oh, you're going to get D'Angelo Russell and like some garbage middle round pick, and that's it. And it was kind of like just getting the compensation right so KD could get out of there.
Yeah,
and
for the signing trade. Yeah.
And it was ugly, and it kind of like, he was kind of embarrassing Golden State, So you mentioned it's like, oh, the Jimmy Butler way or the James Harden way. I think this is gonna be like near those. Jimmy Butler is a killer, and that's why the things he did, he got ugly on the court because he's all ball all the time. James Harden, he's just gonna turn the other way and be disinterested and just make things ugly. With KD, he saw that tweet.
Of course. I thought he was going to respond. If that response comes, oh man, bro.
And you know what that lets you know? If push comes to shove, if it comes to like wanting smoke, and this is like corporate smoke, KD doesn't want to put that pressure on himself. He doesn't.
No, bro.
He knows that if he quote tweeted that, and he probably pressed a button and wrote something. And then was like,
oh shit.
You can't let this, because from there it's kind of like this guy, he kind of put the bait out there. It's like, because he's a Twitter warrior, he likes getting into it with people. I dare you to say some shit. I fucking dare you. And he didn't because he knows that. Because if he gets ugly with the owner on Twitter, not only is his value going to go down because he's a disgruntled superstar with an ugly situation, now his perspective to other GMs and to other teams is like, all right, and I told you this months ago when we first started the podcast. It's like, yeah, you wanna. I don't mind giving the farm for KD, but who's to say that next year, halfway through the season, next year, 2 years from now, he's not gonna do the same shit to us? There's no guarantee. And he could very easily turn around and do that next season if he doesn't like the way things are going. Pat Riley's asking for too much. Spo's tripping. Because, they didn't like being coached over there. Kyrie last year said that they didn't need, or 2 years ago said that they didn't need a coach. And you never saw KD come out and say, oh, not even probably like clean up the comments for Kyrie, because he probably believes that. And, he's kind of a trained killer that you put on your team, just go in there and put up points. But as far as building a team, you have to be careful with what you're giving up, because you could very easily give away picks and then a year, 2 years from now, be left with no picks and no superstar and in the middle of nowhere, pretty much.
Yeah, you know how I feel about that. But thanks all Heat Nation for tuning in. Remember, smash that like and subscribe button. Any suggestions you have for the show, always tweet at us, DM us. We're open to try new things, new topics, things you want us to discuss. Go ahead and DM me, tweet the show, and we'll go ahead and discuss it. You might even be on the show. But in light of that, when you said about the situation, what are you willing to give up? What can you give up? There was a hypothetical trade that I'll come on the forefront and say, I wouldn't do it. But I'm going to give you the information. You've probably seen it. It's the BR report. And my producer loves this, by the way. I was talking to him about it. We have a hypothetical 3-team trade. It involves the Pacers, the Heat, and the Nets. The Heat would acquire Miles Turner and Kevin Durant. The Pacers would acquire Ben Simmons. Now the Nets would acquire Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, Duncan Robinson, and 4 first-round picks. That was a hypothetical trade. And I'm just going to state my point. Yes, I'm going to state my point one. I'm going to let you take it. I firmly believe Bam Adebayo will not be traded. We have a bet writing on this from, I believe, like 3 weeks ago. I said if Bam Adebayo was traded for Kevin Durant, I would shave my head live on the podcast.
And I said that if we get Kevin Durant, Bam Adebayo is probably not on the team, because that's the only way to get him on the team is by getting rid of Bam. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I remember.
But whoa. You also made a bet with me, Juan, that if we would acquire and we would acquire Durant just by giving up a package of Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, the one I proposed, that you would shave your head.
Okay.
Do you remember this? What?
Things have changed.
Producer.
This has changed drastically. This is like.
It's true. We have video footage.
We got receipts, right? We got. Hey,
receipts.
He said he would shave. It was between one head or the other head, and he said top head. So that's
one head will be shaved. One head will be shaved. So it's in your best interest that we don't acquire Durant at all. It's in our best interest that Durant is not acquired. Either way.
If we really want to monetize this, we take it to the OnlyFans with the paywall, and then once they get to the paywall, they got to pay for the content.
Hey man, I'm willing to put this.
Don't make me fuck up the game. Like, I'll do it.
Oh, look, I'm gonna up you. I'm gonna up on you. I'm gonna talk to the producer. If you can put something on the poll, Bob, on Fins Talk Network, and obviously a little pre-warning. This is something I threw at him and he almost killed me, but I'm gonna do it. I don't care.
Okay, so AJ, going back to the KD talk though.
Go.
What do you think? Before this weekend, obviously we were looking at probably superstar play, star player, all-star player, solidified player, and then 1-2 role players, 2-3 picks, right? That was kind of what the package for KD was looking like.
Yeah, with a possible 13. It had to be. I think it had to be a 13.
Going after this weekend, how much do you think his value dropped?
Well, a lot of people, from my perspective, I had a lot of people would trade Bam for KD. When that comes into play, like I've mentioned before on our shows, when you trade Bam, but that alone carries a lot of weight. So you don't have to include a Tyler Hero and a Nikola Jovic. You can trade one of them and you package Robinson, but you're not trading away all your assets. Because, like I mentioned before, if that was the case, if you're giving up Bam, other teams already would have traded for KD. They're not getting what they're asking for. So there's no need to bid against yourself. But in light of this, I believe his trade market dropped, but also due to the fact that the Nets seem to be willing to trade him really anywhere. I assume there's other teams that are going to jump up and start offering, possible teams from the West, Pelicans, the Grizzlies. So the leverage per se is dropped a little bit for the Nets, but his asking price, Mike Zimmer, kind of in that same package because of the amount of teams that are willing now to probably offer and make one final offer. So, like I said, this could happen within 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't see this happening this week, but this could drag on into training camp where the Nets have final offers. They make their rounds, they make the teams, and they check off every final offer and go with the best offer that they see. But his trade value did go down a little bit.
So that's what a drop of what, 20, 25%? What are you putting it at?
I will put like a 15, 20% if we're doing percentiles.
Alex, one. Okay, let me get a follow-up question because we were bringing up that that Bleacher Report trade that they threw out there. Because you were saying not adding Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. But if you're getting back, and I have it pulled up here, but it was they get Ben Simmons gets traded to Indiana, but Miami gets Miles Turner and Kevin Durant back. So you're getting a starting five. But still, you get Kyle Lowry, who's in peak shape, chip on his shoulder. He's focused. Victor Oladipo as your starting two, Jimmy, Kevin Durant, Miles Turner, plus the remaining backups we have, Caleb Martin, Strus, etc. That would not move the needle for you to even think about considering Bam Adebayo at that point? Because to me, and I'll hop back off and I'll let you guys finish this conversation. But for me, that moves the needle for the Heat in the East. The Heat is a top 3, top 2 team, in my opinion, if they made that move. Right.
Look, I will consider that move, but there's no way I'm trading Bam, Hero, and Jovic. Because if I'm trading Bam, you could either have Hero or Jovic. You're not going to have both.
The rest of the league and myself don't.
Value Hero?
Yeah. Hero needs a very specific blueprint for him to work. And part of his deficiencies is that he can't really create his own shot if someone wants to single him out. And we've seen it in the playoffs for years.
I disagree with you, bro, because Hero, when you talk about Oladipo, Hero, that core, even if no trade happens.
Negotiations, AJ, it's very easy to diminish his value if you just pull off the playoff stats and you pull up the games and you pull up the film.
Juan, these executives know when there's injuries, you can understand. You can see a player what he does season long.
Putting that tape out there, nobody's gonna be thinking, but don't worry, that's when he had his groin messed up. If you get out there, that's the tape you're putting out. Nobody cares what you have going on that day. That's the tape you're putting out. So that's what you're being judged by. You're not gonna be judged at a different angle just because you had this going on. Look at it for any other player. Like, in Miami, people might make excuses for it, but outside of Miami, and when people are doing these negotiations, that's the point they're gonna come back to, and it's gonna hold weight. And what's Pat Riley gonna say?
You know what's funny? I think people have mischaracterized the actual value that Tyler Hero has around the league. I think people don't really understand. A lot of people, a lot of tweeters.
That's what you last brought to the table, and the last meal that Tyler Hero brought to the table was bitter, and it was expired, and it was bad.
Man, you got to have an asterisk there with injury. You got to talk about the full health when you have Hero. But you said playoffs. No, wait. You said playoffs. What about against the Hawks? What about that was a first round matchup? What about against the Sixers? They even started blitzing at him to kind of take him out of the game. That alone shows you right there what other teams think of it.
But AJ, you said, they did. But what you're failing to realize is that they planned for him and they executed and they succeeded.
No, they didn't succeed. They didn't succeed. They lost the series. They didn't succeed. Our offense was well functioning.
Because
he became a facilitator.
we didn't
a
win
distraction.
Tyler Hero. We won because of the team, and Tyler Hero didn't make a big impact on that. If Tyler Hero wasn't
Of course
in that series,
he did. Oh man. Oh,
Tyler
bro.
Hero is not in that series, we still win.
I don't think so, man.
Tyler Hero's
There's a lot.
It still unfolds the same exact way.
I'm gonna let's agree to disagree. Let's move on. I'm gonna throw one at you that it's been talked about before and it's been mentioned a few times. He used to be a member of the Heat. There obviously Jay Crowder has put out some little tweets here and there about a change of scenery or change is always good. I'll do it a quick round and I'll ask you. You can tell me yes, no. You can elaborate, whatever you want. Jay Crowder, last resort. We don't get Kevin Durant. We need to sign a 4, quote unquote. Are you okay reacquiring Jay Crowder? The economical part is a little difficult. Acquiring him, you're acquiring his salary. You have to give up matching salaries or close to. So it might be a very difficult scenario to actually pull off. But if that's the only option, would you be okay with Jay Crowder coming back?
Yeah, you kind of have to. Shooter, good defense, kind of folds in the big moment, but what else is out there? You kind of have to go out there and get something. And it's kind of like the bandage for running it back, the running it back, and it's a light up sign, but one of the letters went out.
It comes defective. There's a reason we didn't give him the third year. Now we're going to acquire him in his third year. For me, I'm going to say
it comes as is.
No returns. Look, I wouldn't do it. I really will be intrigued. Instead of giving those minutes to Jay Crowder, I understand he's still, I think he's 33. Hey,
this man.
You ready? Hey, I'm the captain now here. There will be no slander to Omer. But I was gonna mention him a few names. But I'm a big believer. I like the hybrid lineup of Jimmy at the 4. Some more Jimmy at the 4. So instead of giving Jay Crowder more minutes, I want to give those minutes to Omer. Because there are some teams that are big teams in the NBA, like your Celtics, your Pelicans. It's few far in between. Here he goes again. Jesus Christ, man. Look at him. I told Bob there will be no slander to Omer, to Tyler Hero.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Bobby.
You kicked him out.
I kicked his ass out. We're getting a new host. No Omer talk here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening, man.
Speak to my representative.
Jesus
Christ. This is crazy.
I mean, this is a paid actor by Omer, if you weren't aware. Paid actor by him. And Tyler Hero.
He Nation.
Tyler Hero has some type of pyramid scheme that, people share
Look at these eyes.
videos and they monetize off of it. So, you see more propaganda off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as your seven goes, this man is a paid actor. It's the only, and his AJ is the only
Nation. Look at me. You will remember the name of Omer Yurtseven if they're not traded. You will see a jump in Tyler Hero. My name is Alex Atiachiska. I'm your host of the Goon Squad. Today is August 10th, 8:30 p.m. I'm telling you right now, you can quote me. You can put it in paper. Sign it. I'll deliver it. Omer Yurtseven will be a rotational player. Tyler Hero's going to make another offensive jump if they're not traded. And Juan, you and me will be on next year doing the Goon Squad. And I'm just going to look at you. For the whole show, I'm just going to look at you while we're running highlights. We're going to put 15, 20 minutes of Omer Yurtseven highlights. Just there.
If he stays on the team.
Who?
He's going to be the skinny Hassan Whiteside if he stays
No,
on
my God, don't say that. No, man.
Oh, yeah.
No,
yes, I love that.
No, hell no.
Go
hell
on.
No. Get out of here, Bobby. Get out of here,
Put that
man.
on the Twitter.
This is
love
my
it.
show. Get out of here. Get out of here, producers. I'm going to mute you. Look, you see? I took his ass out. There we go. You can't come back in. Oh, God damn. All right, Juan. One last thing. One last thing before we go. I want to talk to you about, in the given case, that all these trades fall through. First of all, we haven't even talked about Mitchell. We'll talk about Mitchell next episode. But if outside upgrades...
Little tease right there. I don't know if that's even, we'll talk about it next week, but, that's a whole other conversation because, there's a couple graphics out there. I don't know how real they are because,
yes.
NFL season right now, and I'm fully into that. But it's they're asking for Duncan, Tyler. I think it was Jimmy or Bam, and in like 4 or 5 picks.
It's one of those that you're like, wait a second, refresh. Is this a joke? I'm telling you, and I'm telling you this for years. People don't realize this. Even the Rudy Gobert, once again, he messed up the whole NBA because they trade so many picks. Those players that they didn't trade are not core players. That doesn't matter. There's no value there.
Now you want to acknowledge the Rudy Gobert trade, but when I mentioned it when it first happened, you said it didn't have that much of an impact. But now you see
no. I'm talking about impact for me and what I will give up. I still wouldn't give up.
Look at how the rest of the market moved after the Rudy Gobert trade. It was
but you see, but right now that was an inflation. That bubble was about to burst. There's no teams. Look at the Knicks. The Knicks are supposed to acquire Mitchell about 25 weeks ago. Have they acquired Mitchell? No, they're not going to give those picks
because nobody is going to trade for Mitchell. Nobody's going to trade for KD. He crashed the market.
Goddamn Rudy Gobert. The French got us again.
And I have AJ here, just like the White House, telling me we're not in a recession right now. Like,
all right, man. To close this out, we'll do this quick. Worst case scenario, quote unquote. Not worst case scenario for me. I do believe in this team. I do believe this has another jump to make, even an organic build. But if we don't have any outside, which regular fans will see that as a defeat, as a bad offseason, that he didn't acquire what they wanted, none of these players are going to be available. They had no clue. We were in it. That's the reason we still haven't made any moves, because we are in it. The reasons that we can still be in it and negotiate is because we didn't make any moves. We didn't add just that player to fill in the gap. That's all going to be a domino effect. We're still in the game. But big picture, we don't come out with Kevin Durant. We don't acquire Mitchell. We don't acquire Irving. How do you feel about pinpoint shape Kyle Lowry, which we see how dedicated he is? No side effects of what was going on last year, because we're all human beings. We understand personal situations. If, for example, it involves your family, your children, we don't know what happened, but we can imagine the magnitude of those things. It could affect the way you play. It affected Dragic years ago. So we understand that. That's the human part. Everything in motion, mentally, physically, fit Lowry. A fit Oladipo with a full off season, which he wants to be unleashed. In the training camp, Dipo's going to have the battle with Hero if he's still here. Hero will probably be the starter, but Dipo and Vincent off the bench could cause chaos. Vincent is a good spot-up shooter. Dipo's going to be creating more. He's going to have more on-ball control this year. So you have him. You have the possible Bam jump, consistency. How do you feel, Juan, realistically, all joking aside, how do you feel this season could go if it's just an organic build from within and natural improvements of our team with a few adds-ons as reserve experience?
I love how you tried to dress it up, AJ, as just like, how fans would see it as a failure, but no.
It's not a fans, man. Come on.
It's everybody in the NBA. This is a team that made it to the East Conference Finals, and even with if Tyler comes out and balls, I'm a Victor Oladipo truther, so I'm hyping him up, and I believe in him. As far as Kyle Lowry goes, I mean, no comment. It's not the first time that he comes back with revenge status, and then
he did it in 17. He did it in 17 around there.
Yeah, but then a lot of these times halfway through the season, he starts switching out the Caesar salad before bed for cupcakes, and
we don't know him, man. He's just thick, bro. He's just thick. I'm working on that thick body. I got that thick dad body.
I'm working on it too. 10 more pounds to go. But yeah, even with all that lined up, we got this far, AJ, and we needed Embiid to get hurt, and we needed trade the Falcons weren't 100% either, and we needed some injuries to pretty much get not Falcons. Win. Huh?
You changed the bird on me, man. The Hawks.
The Hawks. Yeah. Sorry.
You've been watching too much training camp, too much NFL.
Have you seen my timeline? I'm like, but whatever. Yeah, the Hawks were in full strength. Embiid got hurt just before, and it's not like this were breaking points that I completely shifted the series, but they gave us a little push. I don't know if we get those same breaks next year. Who's to say we're not the ones getting nicked up, because we're thinner as far as depth goes. So guys Jimmy's still gonna be getting a lot of minutes. Hero's gonna get more minutes. Oladipo's gonna get more minutes.
Marty.
Bam's gonna get more minutes. Martin's gonna get
Omer.
I mean, he's gonna
Omer.
but yeah, he's gonna get more minutes. And a lot of the guys I'm mentioning last year or the year before got nicked up here and there. Nothing serious, but it's stuff that gets in the way. And timing is everything. It's not the same. Like Hero, sometimes he got unlucky with the injuries, and I would give him the excuse because I will still die by what you put on tape is what you put on tape, because it's not only because I'm saying it's like I know I understand where you're coming from, AJ, but like business talk in the industry, that's how they look at it. It's what you put on tape, and it's on tape, and that's how we're gonna judge it. So yeah, it'll probably be a step down. I see them probably get into the playoffs. If they don't get first rounded, they're not making it out of the second round, unless Jimmy goes supernatural again to another level, because he will need to play offense and defense and coaching to be able to get past that. But yeah, I pretty much put it at that. Playoffs, probably first round exit, second round exit at best.
All right, very quick, Alex. I just want to jump in here very quick to read you off something I just found up on here from at Heat Nation comment East executive on Miami trading for KD, quote unquote. The Nets have gotten them to the point where they're trying to get them to, which is okay. Do we include Bam in one of those packages? The young players, Tyler Hero, the picks that they have is not going to get Durant. Adebayo will, end quote. I know that's the conversation we're having, so I just wanted you to, that's from an Eastern executive.
The Eastern executive. Does it say who or no?
No, it's never going to say who.
Just an Eastern executive? Of course. That's the Celtics right. Executive. That's the Brad Stevens. You can say that. Oh, yeah. Adebayo's going to get them. Go. They should trade back. There we go. Perfect. Amazing. Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's interesting, but it makes sense too. Man. It makes sense
that all these reports are pushing Adebayo into the market, and and a lot of people don't like Bam, but people are looking for the value in the wrong places. People keep looking for, is he gonna be a better scorer? But name me a more versatile defender in the NBA. I mean, you can.
There isn't.
Off First Take and this Fox Sports bullshit, he's the most complete defender in the NBA. He can guard a point guard like Chris Paul, or a small guy like Young. He can guard a Kawhi Leonard or
yes.
That. He can go and get in the perimeter with a Klay Thompson or a shooting guard like that. He can go and defend the big guys. And yes,
he shut down Steph Curry. So he shut down Steph Curry.
If Joel Embiid or Giannis Antetokounmpo get in front of him, he's gonna get run over sometimes. But who doesn't get run over by those guys? I mean, you're talking about absolute top tier freaks of nature. That it's not about how you stop them; it's about how you reduce the damage.
Contain them. You can't do that.
With Bam, I stopped being frustrated with when is this guy gonna start putting up 20 plus consistently and 10 rebounds? I think people are looking for the value in the wrong places. That's why I'm preaching this whole time. Get Jimmy as either a 1 or 2 hybrid, and then get a consistent. I need walking 25 points.
Okay. I'm gonna offer you that right now, Juan. What if I told you?
What's up?
What if I told you all that exists right now in our current roster? You wouldn't believe me.
No, it
doesn't. I guarantee you. Not like Charles Barkley, but I could guarantee you.
Yeah, that's a
Jimmy's role. And I mentioned Bobby. I mentioned this to Bobby years ago.
These guys are inconsistent, AJ. These guys are inconsistent.
Okay, Juan, you're judging Tyler Hero. You're judging Tyler Hero by the last series against the Celtics.
Max Strus as well. Did you see how many open shots Max Strus missed in the Boston Celtics series before he hit the 3 that gave Jimmy the miracle?
Shooters. Look, but Max Strus played great against.
Series. Did you forget those frustrations, or how Caleb Martin couldn't get one in the basket? So yes, they're great players.
Look,
but as the playoffs get deeper, they become less effective and less effective.
No. Whoa. That's also matchups and shooters. Shooters are gonna go through the streaks. I have no issue with Max Strus missing those shots because I knew he's gonna take the 11th shot and he's gonna knock it down. And I was a big believer that we should have played Duncan in that series when we needed offense, even if he was struggling.
Shots, and then instead of taking the shot to tie it or to make it a 2-point game, he will be taking the shot to either take the lead or make the lead to an even bigger cushion. So that's the difference between a role player and a great player. You can't justify by but he hit the big one. His big one, what was it? I don't think it was even to tie it. It was to put us 2 points down. So then
Max Shoes?
Yeah.
Max Shoes single-handedly game 7. He had back-to-back plays where you don't people. I don't understand why people just identify a role player. I understand what a role player is, but there are differences within role players. Every team has role players that step up in those games.
Those hero plays wouldn't have been needed if those shots wouldn't have been missed earlier in the game.
Yeah, no, but you can't. Okay, a game is situational, man. A game is situational. That's like we were like, he missed 3 free throws in the second quarter. We wouldn't be in the situation. The games change. Even if you make those 3 free throws, you could have had another turnover, a steal. People can't do that.
AJ, if
you can't do that,
if you take Max Strus out and you plug in Donovan Mitchell, how many are we? Donovan Mitchell, are we winning the game? Are we tying the game? Are we going 2 points down? You see the difference, right?
Yeah, but I can do that in any situation, man. But you see, for example, people be like,
that's why you can't be satisfied with the role player will be right there. You need the superstar, so you're not right there. So you have a clear advantage, and you can, really
hear me out. You acquire star players, but every team, max, every team has possibly 3 elite players. If the Celtics don't have the role players like Grant Williams, where did they go last year? Or Al Horford? Al Horford's not elite. He was knocking down shots, but there was
games Al Horford put together to put that team on his back.
Did you see Al Horford against the Warriors?
Did you see?
Did you see Al Horford against the Warriors? Did you see Al Horford against the Warriors?
Yeah, 40-year-old man runs out of gas in the final.
No. Don't go. You can't go there. You cannot go there because you just told me that injuries and people getting tired, that's an excuse. But do you see the difference?
No. Hold on. Stop it right
there.
Do
you see the difference?
Tyler Hero stunk it up the whole playoffs besides one game.
No. Man.
Versus the Hawks.
Jesus Christ,
this man put the team on his back in the first round. This man put the team on his back in the second round. And then he put his team on his back to win his team a ticket to the NBA Finals. You can't compare it. You can't compare it.
Juan.
That's why if Jimmy runs out of gas in Game 7 versus the Celtics, I'm not gonna kill him for that. He did
at all. But Jimmy's my superstar.
Our Horford after
where's Jason Tatum?
After class he put together.
But where was Jason Tatum against the Warriors too?
He went supernatural to get there. It doesn't matter what happens after that.
Okay.
Because
he's not
my God. He's not the number one there.
Okay, but we're talking about my role player.
Hold on, AJ. And last thing, Tyler Hero is supposed to have a bigger role in the Heat than Al Horford is supposed to have a role in the Celtics. Period.
Yes.
And you know what
he did. And he did. Tyler was the number 2 scorer in the team. Yes, he did. Of course he did, man. He was hurt. He was injured.
And what did he show for it in the playoffs? And we're gonna keep running circles like that.
My Lord.
But he put it on.
Okay.
He never was hurt enough that he couldn't go.
Of course he was, man. Have you tried to play through a strained groin? You can't move. He can't move. He has no lift.
If you can't
you
go,
see,
then
getting knocked for giving it a shot.
If you put
I'll
it on
respond.
tape, I'm gonna judge you for it.
I'll respond, but I'm gonna respond next episode. And to further that, we have a special guest next episode. So make sure you tune in. Juan will be back probably with me, and I'm gonna prove some points. I'm gonna give some Tyler Hero stats. I'm gonna go right back at him. But thank you, Juan. Thank you, all Heat Nation, for coming. Thank you, Bobby, for showing up once in a while and still sticking into my show. Do you want to say anything, Bobby?
The people, man.
Hey, everybody, thank you all for tuning in.
Whoa. What's going on there? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
They scare you with a random pop-up. That's Bobby coming.
Man. He just can't let go. He has trouble letting go. But thank you, Juan, man. I see you everybody next week. Buenas noches, Heat Nation, Heat Culture. Keep it up. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for next week. We're going to have a brand new show, special guest, and I'll finish off Juan.